From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over the big news happening on Monday as the voting started on the recon. We'll be going over that fourth stimulus check update of 2021 and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. The price tag agreed upon, and the recon is going to pass. I'll go over some of those checks and all the incredible great news of the money that's coming under that recon. Then we cut to the voting process, and in the final 15 minutes of this video, we'll have all the incredible details about the big sums of money that viewers are going to pounce under fourth stimulus recon. We'll be going to fifth stimulus as well, as that heats up in just a few days. The raise of your vote that's up if you're on SSI and SSDI. Mortgage forbearance has been given and extended to next year. We'll go over student loan debt forgiveness, now in place and forgiven for over 300,000 disabled individuals. And SNAP benefits raised nearly 15% to now 25% lifetime. Also go over all those details and more as we go into a big noontime. The exciting details start right here, right now, as we go into noontime on LALATE, direct from Santa Monica. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you are good and safe. I'm live with you, direct from Santa Monica, with big updates about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Those monthly stimulus checks the Democrats want to go over. I have breaking news about that today at noontime. Then we'll be going over the big money that the president wants to give you under the $3.5 trillion recon. And then we got to the final 15 minutes with so much breaking news, stay to the very end. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, like right now, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE at 1 o'clock. This video will automatically take you there. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. How's the weather where you are? It's beautiful here. It is absolutely beautiful. It feels like it's almost February weather. It's cool. It's a little bit on the gloomy side along the coast. It's almost sweater weather. It's very, very chill. It's very, very pleasant in the middle of the day. So hope you have good weather as well. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how the weather is. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, let's get to those monthly stimulus checks. House versus Senate, Senate versus House. And you're going to see how there's a lot more Democrats coming out in favor of those monthly stimulus checks in this recording starting right now. We had always talked about House versus Senate, but let's look at some more of those senators. Warren, Sanders, and also Wyden. Writing the president recently saying we got to get out stimulus checks monthly under the fourth stimulus package. So they give us a reoccurrence number monthly, but they do not give us an amount of the check. Word on the street is they want $1,400 to $2,000 a month. Then over on the House side, we have AOC and Omar saying monthly. They wrote the president a letter just days ago saying you need to do a fourth stimulus check monthly, and they give a price tag, $2,000. Then we have the members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, them writing the president a letter as well. They say a monthly stimulus check. Additionally, they do not give a price tag. And the incredible great news is that they indicate that they want to do a fifth stimulus check next year as well. They do not say if that's monthly or nor the amount. The American petition is heating up. Over 2.8 million signatures now signed for a monthly $2,000 stimulus check. And finally, the House bill, Senate versus House, House versus Senate. Vote in the live chat where you are right now and tell me how the weather is. Well, that House bill provides a stimulus check, $1,000 after the first month, pandemic plus 1 year. And you saw the breaking news yesterday, which was that a lot of corporations think the pandemic is far from over and is actually going to get very worse later this year, including Ross department stores, giving economic guidance that after a big, massive, great year of earnings across the board, beating estimates left and right in January, February, March, they're now projecting third quarter will be impacted by Delta and advising down on their earnings estimates from about 60 cents when Wall Street expecting nearly double that amount. So let's go over those monthly stimulus checks. How much, and away we go. Well, the Democrats represent that if you got a third, you're going to get a fourth. Single individuals, 75,000 or less. Democrats say they want to give you a stimulus check. Marry a couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats say they want to give you a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats say they want to give you a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits, Democrats say they want to give you a monthly fourth stimulus check. It's not income, it's not taxable. It is also the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you are on the pier and you see someone running by you and it's Donetta or Donetta, don't wave at them. They're not waivable checks either. They just hold donuts in their hands. And the second half of this video, we go over the incredible great news about that fourth stimulus recon. Done deal. I'll explain to you why it's a done deal. Then in the third part of this video, the final 15, stay to the very last 15 minutes of this video because there's so much breaking news this weekend. We have the incredible student loan debt forgiveness announcement for disabled people. We have the SNAP benefits. We're also going to go over in the final 15 minutes of this video the incredible checks on the fourth stimulus recon, 3.5 trillion of them, why this is a done deal, and what's that hidden message in that Steny Hoyer letter. Is there a hidden message that only I have picked up on? I'm going to go over that incredible letter, ordering House members back into session on Monday. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready. We get some big money for rent and utilities and food and internet. And when we talked about money for rent, we initially thought it was $4,000 or $5,000. Let's see how much people are getting right now. Bam. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth getting $27,000 for rent. Mark, $25,000 for rent. Nancy, $24,000 for rent. And Richard, $22,000 for rent. Get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to get you some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And you know what I'm so excited about is that I'm getting messages daily on social media, private message for success stories. If you have one, send them to me as well. It says that people are watching the video and pouncing as Purple Hawks and getting this big sums of money. Overnight, Sharon getting $2,700 for SNAP. Laney, $13,000 for rent. Can you imagine? Great job. And then the day before that, this came in overnight. We had the incredible great news from Kathy, who got $13,400 for rent and water and utility and SNAP. We had Helen, who got rent and then also got electric and water, and John getting $12,000 for SNAP. Big success story keeps on coming on in. We had countless success stories earlier this week. My goodness. People on average getting about $14,000 for rent. And then we had Cecilia getting over $1,200 for HEAP. That's a heap. That's a heap. So how much in utilities are other viewers getting? Let's look at the graphic. Bam. Oh my goodness. Nancy, there she is again, getting $7,000 for utilities. Mark, there he is again, getting $6,500 for utilities. And then Angela, $5,000 for utilities. How about people who got 3 items? The Triple Crown. Can we see the graphic? There we go. Oh my goodness. No, that's SNAP. We got one more to go. We still have a third one. I'm skipping ahead of myself. We have SNAP. Louis getting $18,000. John, $12,000. And Nancy, there she is with the Triple Crown, $5,000. So who are the Triple Crown winners that got 3 items from this channel? Can we see the graphic now? Bam. Oh my goodness. Great job. Nancy getting $32,000 for 3 items. Nisi getting $23,000 for 3 items. And Mark getting $32,000 from 2 items. Mark, that's a graphic about 3 items. How did you get in there? Let me explain why Mark is on the graphic for 3 items when he only got 2. He had gotten 2 at $32,000. And for 5 days on camera, I said to Mark, why did you not get SNAP? SNAP is a SNAP. That's why they call it that. It's very easy to get SNAP. Call up Department of Agriculture. And that was the missing item he had not gotten. Well, there's a lot of things about Mark's story that I really like. Number 1, that he heard my video and he went and got SNAP. That's number 1. Number 2, I love the success story and how quickly it evolved, because Mark, in just a few days, less than 5 days, got SNAP. He heard my video, went and got SNAP within that week. Then I also love he went into his neighbor and said, hey, watch that kid LALATE, go get some rent. And the neighbor went and got rent and got $20,000 within 5 days. This is true Purple Power spirit. So how much in rent how much in SNAP do you think Mark got? Well, he got a couple dollars. He got a couple dollars. The total amount that Mark got really surprised everyone. Here is his success story. $19,000 for Snap, bringing his grand total to $50,500 for Mark. It's incredible, great news, and I'm so proud of him and everyone else that continues to send me messages. If you got money as well, send me your messages. But boy, we are far from over for these sums of money, because here is Lorraine at $105,000 she got from this channel, and this is LALATE. This is why you want to be part of this family, because we've been doing it since day one. We did it in April of last year. When I launched this channel, people had applied for the EIDL loan and EIDL grant. Their applications stalled, not being approved. So off camera and on camera, I was doing 10 applications a day, recording videos, doing private messages in the middle of the night, setting up a social media campaign called The Private, having volunteers, doing 10 applications approved a day, getting over $150,000 a pop. $25 million of EIDL loans approved from this channel alone, saving people's businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes. Then in fall of 2020, sort of like now, there was no stimulus check coming. We were waiting for third stimulus. It was not law. Second stimulus, it was not law yet, $600. So I said, hey, you need to get some money. And I got money. $250,000 for rent for viewers. Like Tyrone, who picked up the phone, saw my video, and got $15,000 for rent for his family from December to January. But now we're doing bigger sums of money across the board to get that pen paper ready. I want you to be the next Lorraine, starting right now. We're going to show you how to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance, and it starts right now. I'm going to show you a couple of introductory remarks, starting with the following. First, I'm going to be showing you 6 places to get the money, to call up, and where to get the money. Do not reach out to one and then close and then say, fold, and say, I called one, I got a no. Ironically, they all have different eligibility. So if one says no, keep on pushing. Keep on pushing. Also, because if one says no, the next one has different eligibility. It also has different pots of money. They all have their own pot of money. Number 2, every state is paid. The federal government gave the same amount of money to every state based upon the number of residents in that state. So every state has the money. They may not have it at the city or county level if you're a very small town, let's say 100 citizens. But as you go up the food chain, I'm going to show you, they're going to have the money. Number 3, listen to keywords I say in this video. It really helps people get approved. And finally, do not insert new eligibility ideas in your mind. They don't give money to people in front of surfboards. Untrue? And there you go. Let's get that money. Here are the 6 places. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's wonderful lobster margaritas. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it just has sort of like a tail fin sitting out of the glass. No, it's just awful. Mitch, stop with the lobsters. They don't know that. You don't want to know that as well. And congratulations to Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of the money is Snap. And if you got to this pot of money for rent or utilities, post your success stories in the live chat. Snap is wonderful. It's a Snap. And Louis got $19,000 for this. John got $10,000 to $12,000. Mark got $19,000. Lynn Glenn got it for herself and her son and mom. And what is Snap? Snap is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. What is the eligibility? Easier than a stimulus check. Why would you not get it? A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets a lot out of $16,000 previously under executive orders. But now, the breaking news delivered first on this channel on Mornings LALATE live on air. On Monday, the President of the United States reached out to the Department of Agriculture and said, you know what? We are not going to do another executive order. You're going to increase your money, and it's going to be lifetime. You're not going to look to me to do this anymore. You're going to do it. And guess what? They agreed. So here's the breaking news, if you haven't heard it. Everyone, SNAP benefits nationwide, every single citizen, every single resident, your SNAP benefits are going up. How much? An average of 25% lifetime, automatically starting in October. It's incredible great news. And yeah, viewers like Mark, who got $19,000, he's looking at $25,000 annualized. And there we go. If you got Snap as well, post in live chat. Now let's turn to the next part of the money, and we're killing it. We're only 14 minutes of this video. It's the refund check from your state due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. One viewer got $3,000 for this. One viewer got $5,000. Where's the land? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And how do you track it? Contact your state and say, hi, state. Can you track it with a computer that actually has a keyboard? and a mouse and a monitor, and actually has some electric attached to it. It just sort of helps. It is the state. You have to always sort of say the obvious things to them. And then finally, the last pot of the money is the refund check coming back from IRS for that payment on that 2020 taxes. I had a very nice viewer send me a private message on Facebook saying she got, I think it was $2,200 last night. So it's on average $1,200 to $1,400, but it may be more. Margaret got it, Ka got it, Michael got it as well. And if you got that money, post in the live chat. But first, here's a personal message. This channel was launched for me to help you, but also it's very important for you to help others, and you're doing an incredible, great job. If you're in the live chat right now, jump in there and post your success stories you have gotten for rent and utilities and SNAP, because when you do it, you help other people. Number one, people don't realize that they can just simply pick up the phone and that they can start the process. They need that encouragement. They need that motivation. They need that inspiration. It comes from you when they see these numbers. Number two, people don't realize the numbers are so big. They don't think that utilities could be in the thousands of dollars. They think it's $100 not worth their time. It's big sums of money. Then there are people who never heard of SNAP until they found this channel, like Larry Mowry, getting $500 a lifetime because of this channel. There are people like Art Sullivan and Nisi who are viewers of this channel, wonderful human beings. They inspire us because they got 3 items. Now, countless viewers are getting 3 items because of them. And then when we have bigger sums of money that viewers continue to get, and those numbers continue to come on in. More about those unemployment benefits, but post your success stories in the live chat right now. Where are those unemployment refund checks coming from IRS? Otherwise, direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yes, 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search, and it'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid, and 70% of the time it'll reveal stuff you wish you had never seen. It'll reveal when Mitch is at his lobster fest, does he dress up in a lobster? With or without Bernie's mitts? And can we top that? Yes, and 70% of the time it reveals the refund check you're getting. We can't top that. As we go into the second part of your Forced Stimulus Check Update 2021, starting right now. Boy, deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you and the American people under the forced stimulus recon. This is in addition to those stimulus checks. The recon, I can say for a series of reasons, is guaranteed to pass at a price tag of $3.5 trillion for a lot of different elements. Let's go over all of them briefly, shortly right now, and I'll have more about this in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. Number one, they already agreed upon the price tag before they started. So there's no dispute that the price tag will be $3.5 trillion. Number two, all the $3.5 trillion is generally for money for you, checks for you. So it's all money for you. The previous stimulus package is this small, this small, this small. This one's this big. The previous stimulus package is nearly 90% for corporations. This one, nearly 100% for you. And this stimulus pack and this recon, all proved by the Democrats, they don't need any Republican votes. And in fact, the Republicans can't derail it because the Republicans want the bipartisan roads and bridges. And the president says, you got to give me both roads and bridges and recon. So how do we get to this wonderful spot? By taking the roads and bridges out of the recon and putting in the bipartisan. A conservative publication confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable, and vice versa. You're only going to hear this on this channel, that the Democrats, on not just the Senate side, but also the House side, met with the President of the United States before doing the recon and said, what price tag? $3.5 trillion, done deal. And so the fact that they're voting on something they already agreed upon is sort of obvious. They already agreed upon this. And that's why they wanted a big price tag. That's why Representative Richie Torres and Representative Ilhan Omar, both Democrats, both progressives, had said before that agreement, we have to have a larger recon, and we won't support it unless we have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, $3.5 trillion. The president then said, protect my recon, because everything that's in that recon is checks from the American people, progressive checks. And that's what Jalopal and Brian Schatz, both progressives, both Democrats, had said the president had told them. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? What is a bipartisan procedure? What is a bipartisan substantive? Let's go over all the details starting right now. Recon is your money. Bipartisan is not your money. President has made very clear you have to send him in the Oval Office both things at the same time. He won't sign one. So let's go over one, the two paths. What are the two items? Recon, your money. Also called reconciliation, also called the budget bill, also called the Democratic spending plan or the Progressive Welfare Assistance Plan. Price tag $3.5 trillion. Bipartisan, not your money. This is roads and bridges, price tag 1.5 trillion. We have 3 bills we have to do. Recon procedural, which already passed the Senate, goes to the House on Monday. Recon substantive, and then bipartisan, the roads and bridges. What is recon procedural and what is recon substantive? Let's go over all that right now. So recon procedural is very basic. It only asks 2 very simple questions. What is the price tag? 3.5 trillion. And which committees are going to get $10? That committee gets $10. This committee gets $20. Very, very simple. That's all it does. This is already agreed upon before we are started by the Democrats. So the vote on Monday is purely just exercise of ceremony. And then we go into the substance, which is, okay, now that the committee has $10, how is that committee going to spend the $10 or $20? On whom and how, and all those details as well. How do we get to this wonderful spot? By Jalapal, who originally wrote Schumer a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus, who recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Wow, that's great news. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means Subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the forced stimulus recon. Oh boy, that same subcommittee we just went over? Yeah, they say they're going to do it. Purple Power, you got to push and make sure they keep their promise. Can we top that? We can, as Biden did it 7 weeks ago today. He went overseas for a ceremonial signature. He then came back to the United States for the formal signature. And what is it? It's for something that no longer has to belong in the forced stimulus recon, making the recon easier to do. It's called the global minimum corporate tax rate. And because it's no longer in the recon, it's easier to ride it. Recon. Easier to call the vote on the recon, easier to vote on the recon, easier to pass the recon, because that confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, there's so much breaking news you're going to see in this recording. We're going to go over the vote on Monday. What's next on that House? Is there a secret message in Steny Hoyer's remarks? Are we going a different direction from House to Senate or Senate to House? We'll go over how quickly the money comes out and what that money really is. What's the difference between application-based and what's not the difference between application-based? But here's what you need to know, is that if you've been with this channel since day one and have gotten, or any time thereafter, and have gotten 1 penny from this channel, you are ready to pounce into forced stimulus. Because forced stimulus, in addition to those stimulus checks, will be predominantly application-based. That's how we've done first, second, and third. So if you picked up the phone and called for utilities and got $100, you're good. But if you haven't done anything, I want you to do it. Why? Because it really gets you prepared for forced stimulus. Pick up the phone. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Whether it's $100 from the electric department or $200 for the gas department, a lot more money. And then after you get that money, if you're having problems, reach out to the community page. Where are they? In the description of this video. Go down until you find the community page. It's news.lalate.com/community. Click the link, it'll send you over there, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as the big exciting news at noontime continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. Step 2 is they'll apply a new benchmark. Step 3 is they'll remove the inflation cap. And then after that, they'll apply the inflation cap. After that, they'll remove the marriage penalty, remove the income exclusion as well. Big details across the board. Let's go over everything you need to know about fifth stimulus starting right now. Whose benefits get raised? Yours if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, or more. Your benefits will be raised one big time. Step number 2, they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark will be inflation. When will they apply that benchmark? In December. That benchmark will be inflation, and it'll be transitory. What does transitory mean? It means that your benefits will go up to a big spike based upon that spike of inflation. And how high is that spike going to be? I'm predicting it's going to be about 5%. Incredible, great news. So let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime. Then I'll apply a new benchmark, and your benefits will go up that way as well. Then if you're on asset, then the asset cap is going to go away. If you under a 1980s law, you couldn't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away, and you'll be able to have more than $3,000 in hand. The income cap is going to go away from 1960s law for those that had been limited to work. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear loss of benefits. Meantime, will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will. The Democratic Subcommittee, House Ways and Means represent, they're giving you a fifth stimulus check. That will be in the fifth stimulus package. And lastly, if you're in the live chat and you have not become a Purple Hawk and you notice the people who are, you need to join right today. Here's what's at issue. When you look at the big sums of money, it's all been application-based under these previous stimulus packages. And Purple Hawks are delivered daily from me via the YouTube community page for members, a breakdown of all the big money available in the first, second, and third stimulus, and what's proposed in the fourth and fifth stimulus. The member link is under the video where it says join here. Click that link and become a member today. Daily, I deliver that breakdown for you, and here's what viewers are doing. Under second stimulus, there was a $600 stimulus check, but it wasn't coming when it needed to come. And so I said, hey, here's the other money to get. And that's how Tyrone and his family of 4 out of Boston got $15,000 in December. But in January, I said to Purple Hawks, I said, sure, there's a $14 stimulus check. It'll eventually come, but I'll get you $14,000 because there is money. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, but in that fourth stimulus recon. And those Purple Hawks pounced. They got a lot more money than many of us ever thought was possible. And they're still getting money to this day. Thousands of dollars are being gotten by viewers of Purple Hawks daily because they're watching the video, understanding what's delivered to them and pouncing, whether it's $20,000 for rent or whether it's utilities or SNAP. Consider becoming a Purple Hawk so you learn about all this big money across the board that you can get, and big sums of money like Lorraine, who got over 100,000. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. This is an additional stimulus check, and I'll explain the details starting right now. Number one, how do we know it's a deal done? Because of the price tag. The price tag was agreed upon of $3.5 trillion before the Democrat caucus ever started the reconciliation process. They met with the White House and said, what price tag? Democrats on the House and Senate side, and agreed upon a $3.5 trillion price tag. Number two, the $3.5 trillion is ostensibly all checks for you. Checks of all types across the board. The previous stimulus packages were this big. This one is this big, a lot bigger. And the previous stimulus package is nearly 80% for corporations. This one, all for you. So it's confirmed a $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you. The only thing that's not confirmed is how they're splitting the money among the different items in a particular committee. Committees are given these sums of money, $10 to this committee, $20 to that committee, and those committees will have the money for you to come and get. If you've been with this channel since day one, you've understood how application-based stimulus exists. And you've done it before, because guess what? You've done it with PEBT, where you had to call up and raise your benefits up. You've done it with PUA, where you had to apply for unemployment benefits. You've done it with anything from EIDL or PPP. So this is something you've done before. Let's go over all some of those incredible items that are in that fourth stimulus recon as Steny Hoyer is now calling them back into town. All those details starting right now. First, while we do not have the bill, we have some of the proposals of what is in that recon. Here you go. Checks for everyone. All different types of checks. Free school meals for all checks. Tax break checks. Checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for farmers, checks for free internet, lots of checks for workers and checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for collective bargaining, checks for seniors, checks for vision, checks for hearing care, checks for dental, and more. I love the Purple Hawks. They're always sending me messages saying, how do I get that money for dental? And that's what's great about a Purple Hawk, is that they really understand that the money for these items is not coming from Department of Treasury. Department of Treasury is the one that sends out stimulus checks. But if you want a check for dental, it doesn't come from Department of Treasury. They don't send out checks except if it's from IRS sends out checks from Department of Treasury. Anything else, you have to come and get. And you've been doing this since day one. All right, so now let's go to the exciting details about the vote on Monday. This is very fascinating. So Steny Hoyer sent out a letter to the members of the House. He is the majority leader in the House, Democrat, and said, you know what? You're ordered back in by the 23rd. Get ready to vote by the evening of 6 p.m. that day. And this is the part of the letter that I find fascinating. Not so much the 23rd or the 6 p.m. is where he says, get ready to stay in town until we're done. Excuse me? Wait a second. The recon procedural, what price tag is a 2-second job. You come in back and you say 3.5 trillion, done. Thank you. Can I go home? No, you're not done. Well, what else is there to be done? You think about it, and then you realize, and this is the only channel, any place, anywhere you're going to hear this analysis, is that you realize the next thing to be done is recon substantive. Now, here's what's interesting. If the recon procedurals just takes 10 seconds and Steny Hoyer says to the House members, stay here till we're done, well, what's else for them to do? The recon substantive. And why is this fascinating? Because there were reports about this a week earlier saying that we may go House, Senate for recon substantive, not Senate, House. Under recon procedural, we went Senate, House. The Senate finished. They went on vacation. They sent the House the work. Now the House is coming back. But the House will be done with recon procedural in a blink of an eye. And then what are they going to do? Very possible they're doing recon substantive next. And recon substantive next would make sense because the Senate's gone. And the House could finish the recon substantive and then send it over to the Senate. Let's go over why this is incredible great news for you. Number one, the House subcommittees are the ones that write the actual legislation for the recon substantive. The House subcommittees, like House Ways and Means, are dedicated to different subject matters in the Constitution. For example, unemployment benefits, stimulus checks, they write that. When they finish writing, those subcommittees in the House combine their pages, send them up to either Nancy or Chuck. If it's Nancy, then she puts an H on it. I like it starting on the House side for a series of reasons. One, the House subcommittees write the legislation. Number two, House members always pay more money than senators. Number three, House members who are Democrats are mostly progressives, and progressives spend more than the Democratic moderates in the Senate. And finally, I like starting on the House side because they're going to spend more money, then the vote-a-rom in the Senate could add more money on top of that. It's all incredible great news. So when the House members work on the recon substantive, and if it is right away, just within a day, they would not start writing it that day. They would start voting on it quickly because they've already been writing it all along. So what remains then an issue of our attention? How they're spending the money in those committees. Now, we already understand the money is all for us, and we already understand the money is all to be spent on us, but you want them to spend the money the right way. And this is the $3.5 trillion. And you also want them to include a stimulus check. Warren and Sanders wants that to be in there, and so does the House bill want a stimulus check in there, and so does AOC and Omar, and so does House Ways and Means, and so does the American Petition. This is why you have to push with what I call Seats for Stimulus. Seats for Stimulus was a campaign I started last year that said, hey, you need to do the right thing, otherwise there won't be the right payment across the board. Seats for Stimulus basically says, hey, spend the money the right way or we're taking your seats. And if they don't spend the money the right way, then what happens is we take their seats. Six House seats were already taken care of are already up for grab in November. And those 6 House seats are critical because guess what? They're campaigning right now. And if you notice the irony, it's House seats. It's House seats members who are already the focal point of potentially doing the recon substantive next. Meantime, let's go over all the details that you need to know about this recon substantive versus everything else. Well, recon substantive is following how all previous stimulus packages have been. Stimulus package number 1, stimulus package number 2, and stimulus package number 3 were all application based. You had to pick up the phone and call, or go to a website and call. And so if you have been with this channel since day one or a new follower and just recently found this channel, and you've gotten $100 from utilities or $600 for gas, you are going to do really well under forced stimulus. Because forced stimulus will generally be application based. Because the money for dental will be one place, and the money for internet will be another place, and the money for workers will be another place. You have to pick up the phone and call, or go to a website and call. I'll be here to show you how to bounce. And this is where Purple Hawks, this is where LALATE viewers really shine. We've been doing this for a while. We didn't just start doing this since yesterday. We've been doing this since day one. We did EIDL last year, then we did PUA, and then we went to EBT, and now we've been doing rent and utilities and food and internet, all these types of monies. And if you're good at picking up a phone and you've gotten one item from this channel, you're going to do so well under fourth stimulus across the board. Now, that recon has a lot of money in there, and there's still room to put a stimulus check in there. So you have to push. Purple Power has to do 2 different things. 1, you have to push to ensure that those Democrats give you the stimulus checks as they promise, and that they're monthly, and that they're the right amount. And then you have to push that the $3.5 trillion that's in that recon is applied appropriately. Finally, a couple of 2 messages. 1, I seen one comment, I saw it again on Mornings LA today, and I was going to answer it, but I ran out of time, was one viewer said they're very focused on Afghanistan, they're not going to get to this. Untrue. Untrue. Fake narrative. Congress doesn't do foreign policy. That's the president, the executive branch. Congress doesn't do foreign policy. They don't do foreign policy unless you're asking them to declare war or declare how much money to give to the Department of Defense. They don't do that. And they do it very, 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 very rarely. They do domestic policy. They do spending here in the United States. So this is what they do. Number 2, they have to do it. They're up for re-election. They will do it to keep their jobs. They will do. They're not going to focus on Afghanistan. There's virtually very little that they can do for as congressional leaders. Now, the president and the vice president, that's a different situation. But they're not doing the legislation. The Congress is. Finally, what you may have missed during the interlude after the break, because audio went down, was that the YouTube alert system has been down since Wednesday for members, and as a result, you're not getting alerts. So it's important to get a pen and paper out and write down the programming schedule. Same programming schedule every single day, not changing. So if that alert system still is not coming up by today or by tomorrow, I want you to know where the shows are. I'm sharing this programming schedule on Twitter and Facebook as well. Coming up next, you can stay on this video, and this video will automatically take you to Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock. So that's an easy jump. This video will automatically take you to Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock. It's a throwback show. And then that video will take you to the 3 o'clock Afternoons LA, which is a brand new show taped minutes ago. That video will then take you into Overnight's Crypto. At that point, I have to get you back over into Evenings LA at 5 p.m. because there's nothing from Overnight's Crypto that can get you into Evenings LA overnight. I will be in the Overnight's Crypto show and giving you links. I'll be in the afternoon show and showing you, here's the link for the Evenings LA. If you see that link, grab it. Open it on your browser or your cell phone so you're ready to go into the evening show, because I want you to see these shows, these very, very important shows. And then after that, you're going to have to really sort of stay on Twitter, Facebook, or on the channel, youtube.com/LA, because it's going to be hard to get you all these links. Street and Stimulus is at 7 o'clock. Sirloin is at 8 o'clock. I sent you these links last night. I would send you the link of the next show that you're watching. For example, on Evenings LA, I would show you the one for Street, and then at Street, I'd show the one for Sirloin. Then after that, we go into overnight shows at 9 o'clock, and then Purple at 11 o'clock. And then I'm back tomorrow morning with a whole new slate of shows as well. Overnights at 3 a.m., 3:30 is Street, and then at 4 a.m. is a brand new Early Mornings LA. And with that, thank you for joining me across the board, and hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this incredible family. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful noontime, and stay with LA for more. This video will automatically take you into Afternoons LA. You don't have to lift a finger. It's coming up next.